Very interesting. If you were to talk to us from the deepest, better part of the bottom of your Kenyan heart and soul, what made President Magufuli really tick? What was his vision think?
My view is this was an individual who found himself through very serendipitous circumstances, if you may, as the president of the Republic of Tanzania. He was not the obvious choice during the delegates meeting, and he told me this himself. And he finds himself in that position, and he was animated by the desire to do good. He was animated by the desire to ensure that the legacy bequeathed to him by his predecessors and the founding father of the nation was to be given impetus. And he therefore went about his duties with a sense of urgency, with a sense, some may say, a sense of impatience, with a sense of dignity, with a sense of seeking to achieve that which he was called to do. And he did it in a manner that did ruffle feathers. He made quite a number of people uncomfortable. And one may say that he was a humanist, a man who was hungry to ensure that his people's lives change for the better. It is therefore not lost on me that during his short tenure of 5 years, not a single sector of the Tanzanian economy has not been positively touched. And in that regard, he was bound to ruffle feathers, particularly from the neo-colonizers, and I'm using this word very guardedly, who thought that his administration was business as usual, would continue to reap and benefit from the mining sector, from the agricultural sector, from the infrastructure sector. He annoyed many. And remember that he also came at a time when the Tanzanian opposition was beginning to grow wings. And typical with many African oppositions, the agenda is to oppose everything and to propose nothing. And he had to confront those people in a very robust manner. Sometimes they thought that he was a little bit intolerant, and that is going to be debated by historians going forward.
Talking about the opposition and talking about allegations that he was perhaps intolerant, what about some of his critics who said, yes, Tanzania may have adopted the multi-party system in the 1990s, but that up to date, Tanzania functions on a template on one-party state?
You know, there may be merit in that kind of assertion, but let us ask ourselves, what have the opposition parties done to ensure that they have their tentacles spread around Tanzania? You are dealing with the Chama cha Mapinduzi, which was formed out of Afro-Shirazi and TANU, that has been on the political scene since independence. And therefore, if you want to dislodge it, it takes a lot more than ramping up the emotions of young people in urban areas. We are talking about a country that is 80% rural. And for that reason, sometimes the opposition confuses the adulation, the apparent adulation that they get in urban areas where there is unemployment for popularity. But when the chips are down, this is a party that has deep tentacles, and the opposition parties must blame themselves. In fact, I think one of the Benjamin William Mkapa did at one time tell the opposition in Tanzania, you are not going to be a credible opposition party until you are able to get into the hearts and minds of Tanzania, which heart and mind has been occupied by Chama cha Mapinduzi for decades. So the opposition must really examine how they approach the issue of dealing with a party as old as CCM. As we see, if you permit me a little comparison, as you see in South Africa with ANC, as you see in Namibia with SWAPO, as you see in Angola with MPLA, as you see in Mozambique with Frelimo. It is not easy, as you see in Rwanda with RPF, as you see in Uganda with NRM, which are much younger parties.